The Cecil Soil Conservation District proudly presents Albeck Farms as our 2019 Cooperator of the Year. Albeck Farms is located in Rising Sun, Maryland, bordered by Telegraph and Wilson Roads. The farm is a combination of two main properties. The original farm purchased in 1958 and the Summers farm that was later purchased in 1978. Combined, the Albeck properties are comprised of 235 acres of cropland, 53 acres of pasture, 33 acres of wildlife habitat, 56 acres of woodlands, and 20 acres of farmstead. The story of Albeck Farms begins with Alfred and Rebecca Haynes. The two were married on November 5, 1937, and welcomed their first child, Benny, in 1940, followed by daughter Beth and sons William and Herbie. Alfred began farming on rental properties as a young adult while also running a coal hauling business. With a great interest in dairy, Alfred and Rebecca purchased their first dairy farm in 1947 and a subsequent larger farm 2 years later, both in the Chester County area. In 1958, Alfred and Rebecca were drawn to Cecil County with the hopes of purchasing a larger dairy farm. They were pleased to find a 125-acre property with healthy soil and plenty of room to expand. In the spirit of new beginnings, they decided to combine their names and coin this property Albeck Farms. While Alfred tended to the dairy herd and essential routines of farm life, Rebecca assumed responsibility for the calves. She was playfully given the title Dairy Herd Replacement Manager, a position which she held dear. Alfred and Rebecca's children were also extremely engaged in the dairy farm responsibilities. As they grew into adulthood, Benny, Bill, and Beth continued to play direct roles on the farm. Herbie joined the Marines shortly after high school and now lives in New York. However, he continues to be involved with decision-making remotely. Benny worked on the farm for many years. However, after a farming accident in 1966 resulted in the loss of his leg, he scaled back his participation and started his own business. He continues to participate in business decisions, and his sons Bobby and Lowell have both worked on the farm and continue to help whenever it is needed. Bill became a full-time, second-generation farmer at Albeck Farms, becoming a strong proponent of conservation efforts on the property. He and his wife Vicki were married in 1966 and moved into a small cottage located on the farm property. With the birth of their 3 children, Aaron, Amy, and Adam, the home became too small, so Alfred and Rebecca offered to switch houses. Bill and his family then moved into the main house on the property. Beth married Floyd Warrington in 1960, and they started their life together in Delaware with their 3 children, Donnie, Cindy, and Barbie. However, as fate would have it, they returned to the farm in 1978. At Bill's request, Floyd accepted an offer to manage the farm shop, and Beth joined Alfred and Bobby on the milking crew. While Albeck Farms has always been a family affair, it officially became a family corporation in 1961. Albeck Farms' current shareholders include Benny Haynes, Herbie Haynes, Beth and Floyd Warrington, their son Donnie, and Aaron Haynes and his wife Lisa. Today, the 273-acre farm, along with the 124-acre Summers property, is operated by Aaron Haynes and Donnie Warrington, with the assistance of Aaron's wife Lisa and daughter Madeline, who handle the farm's administrative responsibilities. Although Aaron and Donnie are the only full-time employees, there are many extended family members and friends that have lent a helping hand throughout the years. Albeck Farms operated as a successful dairy farm for 66 years. In July of 2014, the family decided that was either time to significantly grow their dairy or shift gears completely. Together, they decided that it was time for a change. Although around 250 boarded dry cows, bred heifers, and heifers still call the farm home, the business has shifted its focus to crops. Currently, Donnie primarily focuses on caring for the boarded herd, as well as his personal herd of longhorns located on the Summers farm. Aaron handles the majority of the daily farm maintenance and tends to the crops, which include corn, soybeans, grass hay, corn silage, and small grains. Since the farm's inception, the family has largely focused on conservation and best management practices. In 1959, they officially became a cooperator with the Cecil Soil Conservation District. As early adopters of conservation, in 1970, they built their very first waste treatment lagoon in Maryland. Through the years, Albeck Farms has worked hard to maintain the lagoon. A push-off area was installed to transfer manure more efficiently from the existing concrete barnyards to the lagoon. In 2001, the family signed their first Conservation Reserve Enhancement Program agreement. As part of this plan, 13.4 acres were planted as a riparian buffer to reduce sediment and nutrient pollution, in addition to enhancing wildlife habitat. 3,320 feet of fencing was also installed in order to exclude livestock from this sensitive area. As a continuation of their efforts to enhance wildlife habitats, Albeck Farms worked with the Department of Natural Resources and Cecil Soil Conservation District to refurbish a failing pond located in the Crepe area. This pond was converted into a shallow water development and management area, also known as a SWA, which now provides a habitat for waterfowl, wading birds, and a multitude of other fauna. To help the community fire suppression, a dry hydrant was installed to provide a source of water for the local fire department tankers. During the development stages of the pond conversion, the presence of threatened and endangered species was discovered. This realization led to the development of a wetland creation and wildlife habitat management system. This wetland creation area is comprised of 3 shallow wetland cells that receive water from the upper SWA principal spillway via an underground tile system. This provides the required habitat needed to support the native species targeted. Along with habitat enhancements, Albeck Farms has worked diligently to conserve the health of their soils and streams. Throughout the years, they have installed several grassed waterways, diversions and grade stabilization structures to reduce soil loss, as well as fencing and stream crossings to exclude livestock from sensitive areas. With the increase in dairy head throughout the years, the farm was also in need of increased appropriate waste storage. In 2005, a waste storage tank was constructed on the south side of the farm for the heifers. An additional waste storage tank and dry stacking heavy use area were installed on the north side of the farm in 2014 to support the existing waste storage lagoon. Both storage tanks are accompanied by scrape alleys and gravel heavy use areas, manure transfer systems, and subsurface drainage. Although these constructed soil conservation practices have greatly improved habitats, reduced soil and nutrient loss, and provided manure management, Albeck Farms further enhances their conservation efforts by utilizing best management practices in their daily operations. These include the establishment of cover crops for nutrient management and erosion control, the implementation of contour farming, crop rotation, and minimization of soil disturbance with no-till practices whenever possible. Many years ago, Alfred and Rebecca Haynes embarked on a journey to establish a successful family farm in Cecil County. Thanks to their perseverance and passion for conservation, Albeck Farms continues to prosper under the watchful eyes of their children and grandchildren. The Cecil Soil Conservation District honors the memory of Alfred, Rebecca, and Bill Haynes and proudly recognizes Albeck Farms for their continued commitment to natural resource conservation.
This is a poem that my grandmother wrote for my mother to recite in 1936. The Farmer and His Son. I am a hayseed farmer from way back in the sticks. My chickens are all lousy. My hogs are full of ticks. I use a plow to turn the sod. I trudge behind and hop the clod. I wear long whiskers on my chin. I wear my trousers till they're thin. I farm just like my father done, and that's the way I'll teach my son. I'm sorry, Dad, don't think me mean, but I must have my limousine. I'll use BK on all my hens. I'll dip my hogs and build some pens. I'll use a tractor when I plow. Before I milk, I'll wash the cow. I know you thought I was a fool to leave the farm and go to school. But I've come back to help you, Dad. Yes, I've come back to make you glad. We'll work together now, old pard. We'll work a lot, but not so hard. We'll have a plan to run things by. You'll like it fine when once you try. State men who've studied these things out will tell you what it's all about. We'll meet with other farmers too and plan with them what's best to do. Then 'twon't be long till folks will see the farmer as he ought to be.